Normal.
RCP chamber pressure looks good. Toggling up. Roger roll with Atlantic.
Water towers can fly! Yes!
Tango Delta nominal.
Flight outside SCE off.
SCE off.
Yikes. You bet. Concur. We don't need any more of these.
Well, hello everybody. Don't care, commentate. That's all I've been hearing in Starbase Live for the last several hours, so guess what? We are commentating. I'm luckily not by myself. I am currently joined by Alex. Say hello, Alex.
Hello everyone, what's up? What's going on?
And later, you lucky people, I'll be swapped out with Jack. So you've got something to look forward to, because obviously you don't hear my voice for too long. And also later we'll have Adrian Beale as well. So we have got oh, he's already here. Say hello, Adrian.
Hello, everybody. I am very much excited for this.
He's already here. There we go. If you've got any questions, do at NASASpaceflight in chat, and it'll accompany our wonderful panel, and we'll endeavour to answer as many of them as possible. But right now, the star of the show is Booster 7. This is currently expected to do a static fire test. We know that because Mary's got a notice, an overpressure notice. People go, what's an overpressure notice, Chris? That is basically for the residents of Boca Chica Village, which is right next to Starbase. It warns them they're going to do some testing, and the testing could potentially result in a boom. And that boom is something you don't be next to the windows during such a boom event. So what they do is they warn the residents by a 10-minute siren usually. It's not exactly 10 minutes, but it's around that time. And that's when they basically say, right, we're going to go for a static fire test. There's no promise there will be a static fire test, because they could abort, or they might just result in being a spin prime test where it ends up being an attempt for a static fire test, but it ends up being a spin prime test. That's the way it works. It's very convoluted, but right now, the headline is Booster 7 is preparing to do a static fire test. How many engines? We don't yet know. It could be 1, it could be 3, it could be more. We don't expect more. Alex, do we expect more than, say, 3? Because it's about incremental testing here. They're looking to basically just ramp up towards the big goal of the 33, but we're not anywhere closer to 33 engine test today, are we?
Yeah, you're totally right there. We do not expect any 33 engine static fire anytime soon. From what we saw last week, we saw 3 engine spin prime tests, so I will bet on 3 engines today.
I'm a betting man too, Alex, and I would also put a bet on 3, because they've done 2 tests already with Boost 7. Both of them were single engine tests, rather different one of each other, but they were both single engine tests. So the next progression would be 3 engines. So hopefully we'll see this in the not too distant future. If you were to guess, Alex, based on what we've been watching with the flow of the venting and everything at the tank farm, how long would you estimate? I know it's a rough question because they keep changing it, but an estimation of when they may go for a static fire attempt based on the time now.
Oh, I think that would be a better question for Adrian. I think he's kind of tracking that thing. But I'm gonna venture and answer that. And
tell you what, Adrian,
he can do that.
Tell you what, Adrian, we're going to bring you in and just ask you the very same question, because I didn't know if you were on just yet, but there we go.
I am very much here. It's hard for Boost. So I recently did an article on this where I talked about what we did see so far in this testing of the new generation of booster and ship, and the booster is still a bit weird. Because it seems they're still figuring out a bit of the countdown, they're tweaking things, the countdown changes a lot. So right now we have some indicators we are looking at. The main indicator we used for indicating that they're going for this is the pad vent. You can see it right now on the left camera, on the left side of the pad. There's the pad vent. You can see it going right now. That's usually a vent that will increase in intensity over time and is going right now. It's kinda iffy right now to predict how long it will be. It's in the range of sometimes 2 hours, sometimes a bit less. It's really a bit all over the place right now. With the good indicators we will get is the better indicators that we will get is once this vent stops. That means we are going to see them fueling this vehicle for the static fire test. So right now, I would base on very, very rough data. I would say around between I would not say earlier than 640-ish, maybe 630. That's the net. It could still be very much longer because this Padvan has been going on for a bit, but I would say that's the net right now. I wouldn't expect anything before 630.
Very good. Bill Schneidler has become a launch director. Thank you for your support. That is an amazing thing. Just jump in on this. What is basically a relaxed live stream because the big live stream was earlier. Speaking of which, Musical Wolves, thank you for your support. Is Booster 7 showing SLS Engine 3 how to chill? Too soon. Way too soon for that. It is quite interesting though because a lot of people are asking what's the next thing going to happen with SLS. And the press conference was accurate. They still need to get the data. The teams were finished for the day after the countdown was scrubbed. And they need to get hands-on probably, have a look at it once it's now inert. And it takes a while to detank these vehicles. So we won't know more until tomorrow. There is a lot of talk about rollback because during the shuttle era, yes, I've mentioned shuttle. During the shuttle era, access to the aft was a lot easier because you'd have the rotating service structure. The big RSS, which was just a rotate in place with a little yellow electric cart, used to pull this massive structure across and cover the vehicle. And that was also access platform as well as payload installation. So they don't have that on 39B now with SLS because it's a clean pad and it's the mobile launcher. That makes access a lot more difficult. Now, they're saying it's probably not the engine. They're saying it's maybe the bleed lines. And that is also a problem because that's upstream of the engines. And that's even harder to access. So there's going to be a big case there where they may spend a few days evaluating what went wrong with the bleed system for chill down on engine 3. And then try and work out if they can repair it at the pad or if they're going to roll back. So again, be prepared. A rollback could happen. But right now, they're still pressing forward to repair and get back into this countdown for a Friday attempt. Watch and see. Let's see how that one goes. Lewis Holdsworth, bless you. Chris, Alex and Adrian, the best commentary team. Well, I can't speak for myself there. I certainly wouldn't say that for me. Firstly, what changes do you think SpaceX will make visually to Stage 0 at 39A? Secondly, thoughts on SLS. Thanks. Very awesome coverage as always. Well, thank you for your support. Very much appreciate that, Lewis. That's a very good question. I'm going to throw that question out to Alex as 39A relevance.
Okay, well, I'm blushing right now because of the best commentary.
Yes, so was I.
Certainly the most European commentator team.
Yeah. So, changes visually to Stage 0. Right off the top of my head, I'm not fully sure actually right now. I do know that they have changed the way that they build the sections. They're getting them more completed. Now, obviously some of the so I was talking about the tower sections obviously. One of the things that is going to change a lot compared to Starbase is the use of the former methane, well actually the former hydrogen sphere at 39A. That's it seems like it is already configured for methane, and also we're seeing another cryogenic tank being built as well, probably for liquid oxygen. It might be able to do that as well. So that's going to be a big change. We're not going to see the same kind of setup that we're seeing right here with a tank farm. For example, we're going to see a different setup, but that's normal because obviously it's a different place, it's a different location, and they can use some assets from previous programs anyways because of the long heritage that 39A has. So they have all of those assets that they can use, and they don't have to do as much work in that sense. Now, as for any other visual changes, right now, again, I cannot think of any big change. There might be smaller changes in some of the stuff that they're going to do on there, but unless we see things going on, like once we actually see, for example, the OLM being installed and things like that, whether there's some changes compared to the one that we see here at Starbase, it's probably going to be a few more months until we see some more progress in that sense, and that's when we're going to see more visual clues of the differences.
Very exciting though, because this is what we're watching now. We're watching Booster 7 at Starbase. It will be that long okay, next year I would say, but it won't be that long until we start seeing these tests at KSC. And then in maybe a few years' time, we'll see the same kind of tests at LC-49. Slightly up the road from where 39A is. It's an exciting time for Starship because we are looking into being an era of big rockets now. SLS and Boost 7 or Starship fully stacked are very impressive rockets. And there's a very good chance, certainly a very good chance, both of them will launch this year. I don't want to jinx them by saying that, that's why I was being careful what I say there. By the way, I just want a quick thank to Matt Allen who's become a captain. Sorry, Alex, have you seen something?
I wanted to point, because I just totally forgot. Oh god, this I won't forgive myself for this. People were actually pointing in chat that the chopsticks are shorter at 39A, and we actually get this question a lot, whether that's because they're giving up on catching. In my opinion, at least my personal opinion, is that they probably are not giving up on catching, but rather they figured out that they don't need the chopsticks to be as long as they are at a Starbase, and just because they have done stackings and things like that, so they were probably like, hey, we don't need it to be as long. But yeah, that's the extra thing that I wanted to say.
And that does play into what Elon had tweeted about the tower at 39A. He did say it'd be slightly different. He did warn us before he even started construction it'd be slightly different, so there we go. Yeah, Matt Allen, thank you for becoming a Capcom member, as well as Moltom26 or 26. I don't know what you prefer a username, but both of those people become Capcom members, and for that level of membership support, you get to be in our NSF member Discord, which is now 2,000 members strong, and probably the place where I spend most of my time on the internet. It's a very addictive place. I must admit, it was my first Discord, and I didn't really know what Discord was about until then. And it's very enjoyable, I must admit. It's a very good community in there, which is very important too. Michael Smith, when might we possibly see an orbital attempt? Isn't that the question? I'll start by saying...
question again.
Yeah, I'll start by saying, if it's this year, that's a win. Now, that to some people might sound pessimistic. That might sound like, oh, Chris, but Elon said 2 weeks. Elon's a driver. He drives his team forward all the time on purpose. That's how his management style is, and it's worked out very well for him. I think realistically, there's challenges to overcome yet. We're getting closer. We're now seeing what is basically going to be the orbital pairing of Booster 7 and Ship 24, both being tested. Ship 24 still got to do a 600 test as far as I'm concerned. Booster 7's got to go through its cycle of tests up to 3,300 static fire tests. They've got their full stack mate it with the chopsticks, which we know they've done before, so that's fine. Then they've got to get the launch license, which they may have or they may not have, but they've certainly got something they need to get in the bag. And then they've got to pick a launch date, and hopefully, after probably what might be several scrubs, get this thing into the air and go for the orbital attempt. If it doesn't work out, they've got Booster 8 and Ship 25 down the road. So the opportunity of going orbital this year is possible. I just hope that they have realistic goals for the target of this orbital test, where if they get to a certain point, just staging their classes a win, because I think that's what it is. Alex, what do you think it'll do? What's your best guess for the orbital attempt?
I'm thinking somewhere late November, early December right now. But might be, I wouldn't be surprised if it rolls over to 2023. I wouldn't at all, actually. Yeah.
Adrian, what's your guess?
Yeah, I wanted to, before I give my guess, I wanted to give like some, because we are always talking about how we are careful and pessimistic, and I want to just give an example how fast you are talking about 2023 at this point. Because from the first spin prime test on this booster, which, as we know, caused an explosion, to the second spin prime test, that was almost a month. That was just 3 days short of a month. So right now, if we think about a very optimistic timeline for this vehicle, we are probably talking about mid to late October for being like fully ready with the vehicle on it, with Starship on it, and being ready. Like that's very, I feel like, an optimistic approach to this. Put one more test failure like we had with the spin prime in there, and you're suddenly with 1 month more already in mid-November. So there is really... Yes, there is a path where you can for sure get these vehicles ready this year, but this part is getting slimmer at this point. So it's always this balance: how much maybe of setbacks you expect at this point, and how much will they get right. and there is still the possibility that with increasing engines, for example, there goes something wrong because all of these engines accumulate and makes things complex. And they never did that before. So there could be a case where they're like, fire all 33 and something maybe doesn't go completely right. So yes, I think there's a path to this year, but to maybe call my own expectations, I am right now guessing January 2023.
Fair enough. Andy Skilbert says European only commentary. Nice. It won't be for long. We've got Jack coming on later on, but also it's important to spread the international element of it because the community is international. But I always like to have Americans on as well because it's an American vehicle we're covering. But that's what we do. We split around the commentary. And also, a very important thing about today is a lot of the team, including Jack, who's completely a complete warrior as far as the work with NSF he does. Everyone was working all over 3 of the night with SLS. So you've got to spread it out around the team, otherwise you'll end up burning people out, and it's very important we try and do that. Torben Martin Stouch, how is delay now? Now, that doesn't go very into what vehicle we're talking about. Let's do a quick summary. But first of all, I just want a quick shout out to Scott Manley, who's in chat. I saw him pop up in chat. Hello, Scott. Welcome to the chat again. The delay for SLS currently is now officially waiting until Friday's attempt. That is pending the resolution of pad work relating to Engine 3's bleed system for the chill down. If they can resolve it, and also there's an event valve in the intertank they need to sort out as well, but I think they're waiting for more data on that before they work out if they need to do any work on it. If they can repair things and get back into a countdown, they'll attempt for Friday. If not, they got further options down the road, but not many. And there's also the possibility of rollback. If we're looking at Boost 7 and Ship 24, it's not really a delay because we haven't really got a schedule, so we can't really say anything delayed as such. Right now, it's a static fire attempt for Boost 7, and there'll be more static fires to come. So until that's all in the bag and we've got a full stack and ready for the launch license, as we mentioned earlier, we won't have a launch date, so we can't say it's delayed, if you know what I mean. Rough Rider shirt. Just wanted to give a shout out to all those who attended the NSF SLS meetup the other day. It was amazing meeting all of you. Thank you guys for another stream. Too bad I can't stay for a Friday attempt. Yeah, we're trying to make meetups more of a thing, and there was a meetup last night ahead of the SLS launch at Rusty's, where our fleet cam is, and it was a big attendance. I was very impressed with the photographs, and it was great that people are meeting up. We're going to do one in the UK. I think we're going to start one in London in the autumn, and then maybe one up north later on as well, just cover both ends. But that's something we're going to do a lot more of, meetup, because we've got a great community, and it's nice when you start meeting people and putting faces to names. L Motorsports Fan is the NSF Team Insomnia Medication Fund after today. For the NSF Team Insomnia Medication Fund after today. It's been an utterly long day. You know what we do with that? It's a cow pun. Hang on. Cow, put it into chat. There we go. Because you get fined for cow puns. We've had enough of that in the McGregor stream. Sailing Houseless. That sounds fun. What a week, team. Thanks for bringing us along. Great job. Thank you for your support. Alex has become a Capcom member. So has James. So that's more people will see in the Discord. When you arrive, you'll go into the welcome area, but then after that, you can just spread yourself out around the various channels. It's a very big Discord, I must admit. It's lots of channels for different vehicles and different companies, and even a sports ball channel where I and Alex and Adrian convince Americans that football is the one you kick with your boots, not the one you catch with your hand.
Oh, that's a way to make this way less heated. That's a good way to calm chat down, always. Yeah. Moldy Space Industries. I was going down the rabbit hole there. I thought better stop and move on. Moldy Space Industries. You're a commentary fan club. Jealous of all you guys who didn't get sleep schedule nuked last night. Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of us did get our sleep schedule nuked. I don't think I went to sleep last night knowing we were getting ready for a bigger live stream. It was big. I think we had 130,000 on at one point, and that was before anywhere near the T-40 count started ticking down, because it got stuck at T-40 minutes, didn't they? They were holding longer than possible, and they scrubbed it. So that's where they were with that. So what we'd end up with, I don't know, but we'll hopefully find out on Friday if they go for it. Killian, Padrat member, thank you for your support. Lisigo actually sends a super chat asking how to upgrade my membership. If anyone in chat wants to give advice to Lisigo on how to upgrade his membership, because I think it'd be some option which I don't have as admin, because obviously I'm automatically at whatever level. But
But if anyone in chat it was actually gone from a level of, say, Padrat to Capcom or Red Team, if they want to just put into chat and describe how they did it, that might help better than me trying to explain it, having not done it myself.
Yeah, basically you go back to the join option, and when you go back there with a membership, you can just change level.
Ah, there we go. Greg Smith just asked a question. How much sleep have you got in the past 36 hours? My watch says I had 3 hours sleep in the last 36 hours. Thank you for asking. Edie Tulsa, question for you, Alex. How much sleep did you get after watching the Orange Rocket?
I actually took a nap. I took a 3-hour nap after the fact and woke up to one of these press conference that they did today to explain the scrub.
A 3-hour sleep, luxury, Alex, absolute luxury.
Yeah, luxury.
Yeah, that's luxury here at NSF.
If anyone my age remembers the Monty Python skit at the Hollywood Bowl, where it's the 4 Yorkshiremen, they're all about, well, I used to live in the middle of the street, luxury. If anyone remembers that in chat, please help me out so I don't feel too old and everyone goes, what was that about, Chris? I have no idea. If not, YouTube it. Telstar, thank you for becoming a Padrat member. Very much appreciate that. And Killing's become a Red Team member. Lots of members. Again, I mean, Jack's on shortly. He's much better explaining how grateful we are for it, because I just can't convey it enough. But trust me, when I started this site in 2005, I thought it'd be like 20 shuttle huggers on a forum and a new site. Honestly, I thought that's all it'll be. I thought it'd be something I'll do when I get home from work, as a more like a kind of like a hobby. And it just exploded from there, and it's just kept on going. And look where we are now. And the YouTube channel, we've got to thank Mary, because it was Mary's great photos and videos that she was uploading to the forum and breaking our servers because of the popularity of Starbase already. Then we thought, why don't we put them on YouTube? And that'll just cut the cost down. We didn't think of anything like, some kind of monetization or anything like that. We just thought somewhere to host the videos. And that exploded. Now we're at 500 and... How many subscribers are we at now? Let's have a look. Hang on. 586,000 subscribers. In about 2.5 years, I think it is, we started a channel. It's crazy. But again, we wouldn't be able to do everything we're providing you. All this stuff you see now, all these cameras and bots and the amazing coverage that Daz and Michael do. The team is amazing. It really is. Everybody in the team is absolutely stunning. But we would not be able to do this just from a hardware standpoint without your support. So it's so much appreciated. And speaking of which, Paul Skeets, £10. Thank you for your support. I always laugh because this is just basically watching Boost 7. We're just waiting for a static fire, hopefully. And we're just chatting. We're just chatting with you all. You're our community on YouTube. And, we like doing this. This is fun, even if we're tired. And just to have the support as well. There's nothing major going on right now. It's just Boost 7. It's ready for a static fire, hopefully, soon. But right now, it's just...
Nothing major.
Yeah, it's just a tank farm venting, isn't it? It's basically... If you joined the stream right now, you'd go, oh, that's interesting. Venting, okay, yeah. It's nothing to go, wow, this is great. I'm going to support the channel. So when people do it, it's just crazy to me. I find it humbling. Killian's become a launch director, by the way. Very much appreciated. I'm just going to quickly type something in back. I'm going to find a question so you guys can answer it. It's all sleep questions.
I can give a, I think I can ramble or something here. What Alex also pointed out in the back channel. Watch this vent on the pad very closely, because it's not completely off yet, but the pad vent is kind of dying off, and that usually means the beginning of propellant loading. So I would call this at least a bit weird. I'm not sure if you agree with me, Alex, but this is not... Usually it just stops at some point. This is a bit different, and also it's a bit different angles. So... But I'm watching this closely right now because it was very much going and was full on blowing steam, and at some point it just decreased, which is not super usual, but might be a good sign.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Sorry, Alex, I interrupted you there, but I'm just going to say one thing before I hand over to Jack, because we're going to have Jack on very shortly. You lucky people, is that I go on about super chats and support and what have you. Trust me, I know a lot of people who are massive fans of this channel simply cannot afford to support the channel that way, monetize it with money. So trust me on that one. Do not feel any different level. There's lots of ways you can support us by liking, subscribing, all the things that many YouTubers always end their videos with. Things like that. Just watching helps us. Watching the ad helps us. So do not feel obligated in any way to support us with money. But, you know, if you can't do it, trust me, you're not any different to us. We appreciate you all. And on that note, I'm going to get off and hand over to a much higher tier of commentary. And that is from Jack. Everybody say hello to Jack.
Oh, Chris, you don't need to neg yourself. Like, you're good too. We're all good. There's no levels of commentary here.
And on that note, I'm going to make my exit stage left. But thank you all for having me on for a while. And over to Jack.
Cool.
Have a good night, Chris. Sorry.
So you're exiting stage left. I think that means you're going camera right. I always get that confused. But yeah, so Booster 7 might be doing a static fire. Overpressure notice has been delivered to Mary in Boca Chica Village, so that is why we are live. When an overpressure notice goes out, we take notice and make sure to keep our this is what we're doing, Adrian. I did not sleep last night. So yeah, we take notice and we make sure to keep our eyes on Starbase. Apparently, Scott Manley in chat made some sort of Half-Life or Valve reference.
Yes.
And I don't know if Chris acknowledged it, but I just wanted to say reference acknowledged. Just get that out of the way
I
there.
saw that. Same. I saw that and was very happy. Just point it out.
I'm still mad there's no Half-Life 3. Like, Half-Life Alex was really cool. But I want my Half-Life 3. Let's see.
I also want Portal 3. Like, if we're about talking about Valve games, I would also love a Portal 3. So.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
I gotta say, okay, perhaps unpopular opinion, but Portal 2 is an amazing game. Don't get me wrong, but I liked Portal 1 far more.
I agree.
I feel like Portal 2 was more like wander this amazing landscape and figure out the one little tiny spot to fire your portal, versus Portal 1 was like, here's fun physics in like interesting puzzle type situations where, you know, if you put a portal here and you put a portal there and you can do all that kind of fun stuff. But I don't know, Portal 2 kind of like, I also like, do you remember the alternate reality game that was happening when it launched? Were you
I thought that was great.
It was really great, except some jerk on Reddit spoiled the end of the game.
Yeah.
For me, so maybe that colors my perception of Portal 2. But you know, I was pretty grumpy because the end of the game was like immediately spoiled for me, and I was like, well, great. But
you know what?
Portal. Go ahead.
You know what's great about Portal 2 though? You can download all of these amazing custom chambers in the workshop and just play for ages if you want to have more riddles. That's a very neat feature.
That does sound fun. I also people are gonna yell at me in chat. I never played the collaborative version because I just didn't have any friends to play it with. So maybe at some point, Adrian, you and I should like go on the members Discord and stream us playing Portal 2, the collaborative stuff, because that would be pretty great.
I'm down. I'm down instantly.
Let's see, Killian, upgrading to launch director. Thank you for doing that. Super appreciate all of our members. This is like, compared to the SLS stream, this is a way more chill of a stream, because there's cryogenic propellant. No, I'm kidding. But like, this feels like lower stakes than an all-up launch of a rocket for the very first time. We're waiting on a static fire here. We're hoping that Booster 7 can move further into its static fire testing campaign, because that's, you know, the only way we're going to get to a launch with this particular vehicle. But yeah, I mean, we shall see what happens. Wondering what's next. Thanks for upgrading to launch director there. Very cool of you. It's a huge amount of support, and we super appreciate it. Yabo, thank you for becoming a Capcom member. We hope you enjoy your Discord access that you get as part of that. The member Discord is amazing. I'm just gonna say it quickly and briefly. I think it's the best perk that we offer. There's all sorts of fun stuff in there. We hang out and chat. We do like screen sharing and show what games we're playing. I posted my save game of KSP the other day, where I have 3 Kerbals, including Jeb, stranded on Eve. So if you want to try and rescue my Kerbals, you can do that. Just download my save game. So yeah, Capcom membership level and above, definitely make sure you check out the membership Discord. Look at the LOX subcoolers. Thanks for pointing that out, Alex.
Yeah, they're going crazy.
You can see
The whole
that
tank farm is
massive
going
amount
crazy.
of condensation in the air there. Yeah, whole tank farm is going nuts. So I'm a little bit wary with booster fueling because there have been times where they've done static fires recently and there's been no frost or anything. Basically, no indication that there was propellant in the vehicle other than that vent you guys were talking about earlier shutting off. So we
And
definitely want to keep our
Well-
eyes on that vent. Also the little side vents, you know what I mean. But like we don't have like
Yeah.
a whole bunch of advanced notice that there's propellants going into the vehicle other than that one vent turning off. Unlike, you know, unlike like the Starship test where we get a whole bunch of frost. I mean, of course, the booster can frost up as well, but it can also not, which is a little bit confounding.
yeah, I have to admit that I would not say arrogant, but I was kind of expecting to figure out this booster faster than I now did. Because I was like, at the beginning, I was like, okay, we understand ship really well. This will be easy. I was going into this being like, it will be fine. We will just have a few changes, tweak it a bit, and we'll... No, it's not like that. It's a totally different vehicle with a lot of different behaviors. So, but it's also kind of fun again, because puzzling this out and just looking at it every time and understanding a bit, like one more indicator, that's the really neat part of this. And I love it. I love it that we are back at this again, because I was kind of in a phase where I'm like, okay, everybody knows how ship works at this point. Like, Starship was so figured out at some point, everybody knew how the countdown progresses. So this is new. I kind of like this again.
Yeah, you have a new challenge. Nothing wrong with that. And let's see, Flawed Perspective in chat saying minimal prop load, only the domes. Yep, that makes sense. We've seen that before, even on ship. It's another one of those things where it's like, oh, it can never be straightforward. It's always curveballs here. Michael, thank you for upgrading to Red Team. Robbie, thank you for upgrading to Flight Engineer. Hawk, thank you for becoming a Red Team member. Kit, thank you for becoming a Capcom member. A whole bunch of members, oh my goodness. Harrison, March, Capcom member, thank you so much. This is excellent. Ed, becoming a Padrat member. Click on it and show it. Click on it and show it. My iPad is cooperating today, yay. I know you all cared so much. And Arizona Metamorph? Arizona Metamorph, becoming a launch director. Holy cow, thank you so much. That is an insane amount of support. Super appreciated. M. Scott, Padrat member. This is a huge number of members. Wow. CM, Padrat member. And Christina Carter becoming a Padrat member. So, yeah, absolutely. If you liked the SLS coverage and you liked the fact that we were able to show the NASA cameras whenever we wanted and whichever one we wanted, that is all because of the membership program and because everybody is helping us to cover this stuff. So keep up the good work, y'all, and we will keep up our coverage to the best of our ability. All right, well, let's do some viewer questions. How about... let's see here. Benjamin Toro is asking, how long until Jack sends chat off the rails? So I'm going to just go right off the bat and say... Oh, I'm so tired. I can't even go off the rails here. Bacon good. That's all I got. I don't know. Very weak attempt.
Wow, that was the weakest so far.
You know what, Adrian? I can't always be chaos energy. You know, sometimes I have to be not chaos energy. But there we go. There goes chat just talking about bacon. So excellent.
I love how chat is basically assisting you in this, being like, okay, no energy for derailing today, but we go, we help.
I love it. I really loved that during the SLS stream, chat like wholeheartedly adopted the moon chant, and the chat was just going crazy with moon. It was that made me so happy. Let's see here. McNuckle is asking, does the booster have all 33 Raptor engines? Yes. Mr. Burns, yes.
I see the GIF.
Yeah, you just see the GIF in your head. And if you don't know the GIF I'm talking about, then go on our member Discord and maybe you would. Sean McCallum saying, how much more of the test campaign is left before orbital test flight? I mean, we can all kind of go around the horn and talk about. Oh, look at the orbital launch mount event too. That's picked up significantly.
And the Pope stack as well.
And the recondenser was just on for a second, puffing.
Yeah, the recondenser is on in a puffing pattern for a long time, but the recondenser is, I hate to say it, a bad indicator for booster. It's just, it's kind of doesn't work really as an indicator. It's weird. They're making it hard.
Oh my God, Eric, you with $100 super chat says, you dorks aggravate me so bad, but your live coverage and your dedication deserves the money. We aggravate you because I talked smack about Portal? I'm sorry. I'm not sure what's aggravating you, but either way, thank you for the support. That is a huge amount of support, and rest assured, we will plow that back into our coverage. Thank you so much. Wow, absolutely amazing. I'm just looking at the booster here, and I'm like, come on, like the meme where it's like poking it with a stick. Do something. Let's see here. So what do we think is left before an orbital test flight? I mean, I'll go first, and then we can go around the horn. Obviously, they have not tested a full 33 engine static fire. I think that is certainly something that we should anticipate before an orbital test flight. Maybe multiple of those. And right now we are working on, we saw single engine tests. Now we're thinking we're going to see some multi-engine tests given the 3-engine spin primes that we've seen recently. So, I mean, I suspect we'll see more multi-engine tests, more clusters of engines working their way up to 33 engines. Then maybe they'll stack the ship and do more engine testing, or maybe they won't, I don't know. But that is sort of the remaining things on the list, I think. It's just basically testing more engines in increasing amounts up to 33, and then maybe multiple 33 engine tests, which at the pace they're going, which is simultaneously feels very fast, and also like, come on, why just do 33 and get it over with? But yeah, I don't know. It's tricky. I'm hoping we can get an orbital test flight before the end of the year. I'm sure SpaceX is wanting to fly before the end of the year at least once, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. Alex, what do you expect to see before an orbital test flight in terms of testing here?
Oh yeah, I will expect them to ramp up to 33 engines, doing subsets of engines. And once we actually see one, I would expect multiple of them. I don't think they're going to settle for just one and done. Because once you do one 33 engine static fire test, you can do many more and take as much data from this vehicle as possible. If you remember, for example, SN8, so comparing it to the ship testing campaign that we saw with SN8, SN9, and so on and so forth, SN8 was actually one of the most tested vehicles at the time, where it saw many test fires of the 3 engines in different configurations. It also saw like 1 engine, 2 engines, and things like that. And that meant on subsequent vehicles, they didn't have to test as many times to get them flight ready. So if they can do the same here for Booster 7, where they can push it and test it and take as much data as possible, that might mean that later down the line, Booster 8, Booster 9, and so on and so forth might not have to do as much testing. So it might be a little bit of a pain for us because we want a launch as soon as possible. But on the long run, that might actually mean a shorter time frame for later flights. Which, to be frank, I'm kind of looking on the long scale kind of things. Probably not scales of going to Mars, right? But looking more like the next year. How is the program going to be in the next year? Are they going to be launching regularly? Will they even get to orbit by next year? We don't know, right? And the more they test, the more data that they get, the better it will be eventually to improve all of this. And as you usually say, the more data, the more better, or something, right?
Hey! Don't steal my bit. Don't steal my bit. Adrian, what is your thinking here?
I'm disagreeing with you both. I
Oh,
think they
boy.
will perform 4 static fires from now on. They will perform a 3 engine, then the middle ring, and then the outer ring, and then after a full stack, they will perform a 33 engine static fire, and that's it. I think they want to move to orbit as fast as possible to, basically prove the design as soon as they can, and I think that's it. Think we will see, including today, I think they will perform 4 more static fires.
So just 4? Like just 4?
Yes, basically every ring, because this is my expectation. This is just me totally throwing something at the wall and see if it sticks. I think what will happen is that they fire now basically ring by ring, and today is basically my expectation is the inner ring, so the least amount of engines, and then they will go to the middle and then the outer ring, and then they will only do 1 more. That's my expectation.
Can we put that in writing?
I basically said it on stream right now, and I'm quite famous at this point for getting things wrong on stream about future predictions, because friendly reminder, at the beginning of this year, I predicted 5 Starship flights this year.
Yeah, if you didn't say it, I was going to say it. I'm glad you did. Look at that venting coming from the orbital launch mount.
Crazy.
That is a lot of venting. It's super cool to see it like going through and around the base of the tower there. It's like a tower in the clouds.
You're absolutely right.
Is there
It's kind of
something-
super cool.
Also, it looks like SpaceX constructed a space elevator with the tower there. It's just going straight into space.
Not quite, but close.
Maybe I need a little bit more sleep. But the angle of this camera, with the tower going off the edge, it's like, oh look, it just keeps going right up into space, right? Anyways, let's see here. More questions. That was a good question.
Yes.
Keith is asking, if you're betting on 3 engines, are you thinking 1 from each ring? So Adrian, you just said you sort of expected the center and then different rings, but this is sort of a different thinking here, where a 3-engine static would be 1 from each ring, which is kind of interesting. Right off the bat, Adrian, are you saying no to this, or?
I am, based on my previous statement, saying no to this. Yes.
All right. What about you, Alex?
I'm thinking, we're probably gonna see 1 engine from each ring here, mostly because of the spin prime test that we saw on Thursday. We saw 1 from the inner cluster of 3, then another 1 from the middle ring of 10 engines, and then another 1 from the outers. So I will think that's probably going to be what we will see, hopefully today, with a static fire test of 3 engines.
All right then. Good question.
I think we also saw this kind of venting from the OLM last week. I remember at least myself pointing that out, that it was, I think I said the same that I said before, that it was crazy, it was bonkers, the way that, it goes around the tower and everything, and the pool there of, it's amazing.
Hey, Marcus in chat. What's up, Marcus? Beep, beep, beep.
Look at this vent. I just love this right now. It looks like it's all. Once you imagine how big all of this is and how big this tower is, these clouds are basically as high as a normal house, right?
Yeah, that's a very good observation. Since these cameras are like a mile or so away, it can be a little bit tricky to have a sense of scale, but they're big. Everything is very big, and so the clouds of vapor that we're seeing come off the orbital launch mount now are correspondingly extremely large. Let's see here. Looking for some more questions.
The clouds are now arriving at ship 24, and they're basically going through the suborbital tank farm. They're that far down at this point.
Yeah, I'm looking at Starbase Live, and there's just a little bit wafting around the base of the base of ship 24. That's pretty cool. Neat.
Yes.
Colin is asking if there's a frost ring at the top of the booster. I suspect they mean at the common dome level. It kind of does look like there is, doesn't there? Huh. Hard to
No,
tell.
that's
wait.
the stringers. There's not really any frost there.
I mean, yeah, I know that there's stringers there at the common dome section, but on the left-hand side view, maybe it's just wishful thinking on my part. I'm like, is there just a little bit? Maybe not.
No,
we'll
I
keep
think
our
that
eyes on it.
By the way-
that reflection was there 15 minutes ago.
Oil
Got
and
it.
vent has stopped.
Oh, now we are into fueling. So
Yeah.
we know that at this point we are now into fueling of this booster.
All right. Well, that is what we want to see as we progress towards a potential engine test. When is the window today? When does the window close?
2 more hours.
So it closes at 8 p.m. local. So we've got 2
Yes.
hours left in the window. That's plenty of time to do an engine test and see what data they can gather. Excellent. I like engine tests. Something. Engine bleed. Oh god.
Yeah, speaking now that you mentioned that, speaking of the engine bleed, now it's gonna be the part where this booster has to do what SLS kind of failed a little bit to do, which is engine chill. The engine bleed lines. They recollect that from the oil and pipes that we mentioned last week, and it goes down that leg. You see there one of the legs with the pipes. One of those pipes, one of the thin pipes, goes down, and then it basically reroutes the whole thing to the left view here near the tower. So once they enter chill down of the engines, we might see sort of like a cloud of venting from the grass. That's not a grass vent, by the way, Adrian. That's the engine chill, right?
Yes, they are. I think you talk about that new pipe, right? Going a bit away, right?
Yeah, the engine chill
Yeah.
pipe. Yep.
Yeah, I still have the suspicion, and I'm just heavy speculation warning here. Big red button here. I still have the suspicion that might turn into a flare stack soon, because it's going away from the engines. We know they're obviously disposing something. There's a berm around it, so I have maybe the suspicion that we will see a flare stack again, especially with the lack of recondenser activity so far with the orbital tank farm. So maybe they're at the point where they are going for like an alternative fix or something like that. So I'm putting this out here. It's a heavy speculation, but I'm getting a flare stack vibe here.
I like it. I like flare stacks. But I'm not. You know what? I'm just gonna move on. I like flare stacks. I don't like methane. Let's see. Looking for a couple more questions here. Caleb is asking if we've seen them removing the tiles from Ship 26's nose cone, and Ship 27 looks like it's not receiving tiles, hinting that 26 and 27 might be expendable to get more Starlinks into orbit. I don't know what the logic there is, or if that is even actually the case here. Maybe they're just changing how the tiles go on. I don't know, but it certainly looks like Ship 26 and Ship 27 could be weird ones. They could be weird ships for whatever reason. but we'll just have to sort of wait and see what is exactly going on with those. It wouldn't shock me if some ships initially were expendable. The thing we want to recover, I think mostly at first, is the boosters, right? And either way, booster or ship, whatever is recovered first, is not going to
Holy.
be. Yeah, look at that.
The methane subcoolers are completely bonkers right now. That's some significant activity right there. Wow,
That's not new, right? But maybe it's just the wind direction that's making it look extra fancy. But that is a lot of condensation either way.
I feel like the humidity as well today. I feel like we have there's some days where just the combination of temperature, humidity, and wind just makes this perfect mix of a lot of condensation. And I feel like one of these days is today, because not always that comes down to the activity, but sometimes to other conditions. So I feel like we are kind of getting fooled a bit here by the weather and everything, but it still looks cool.
Yeah, a lot of times when there's not a lot of wind, the condensation kind of just hangs around low to the ground around the tank farm, and this is sort of, it's just getting blown around, and it looks extra neat. But to return to the question at hand, yeah, I mean, it would make sense to get Starlinks into orbit as fast as possible, and if that means leaving things off of ship and purposefully expending it, that's one way to go. I mean, even if they land a ship or a booster right off the bat, they're not going to reuse it, right? Because they've even said they're not going to reuse initial ships and maybe boosters. I don't know. Alex, you wrote an article about this, right? What's your thinking here?
Yeah, I actually included a little bit of this. It might not only be the tiles that are gonna be disappearing, but probably even the flaps on those ships. Again, a little bit of a little bit of salt here to put into this, because it's still very much fresh, and we have to keep looking at what's the status of these vehicles as they progress. But I believe also the question here, I wanted to clear something out. It says it kind of implies that that this move will be to be able to fit more Starlinks on these ships, and to be fair, in terms of mass of the performance of the vehicle, they have plenty of performance. It's actually the volume. So if you want to carry more Starlinks, you actually have to increase the volume of the payload bay, rather than let's remove TPS and tiles and whatever, because we don't get our desired mass to orbit. I don't think they have any problems with that. They have plenty of performance with the Starship in that sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. If they want to put more Starlinks in it, they don't. It's not about leaving stuff off. They're going to need to stretch the payload bay, which that could totally happen. we
Indeed.
I think Elon has even talked about doing a stretched variant. So it's just one of those things where this is a developmental and test program. They are doing various things and prototyping various designs, and if part of the whole process evolves to be, hey, let's throw some Starlink V2s into orbit as soon as possible, especially given their recent announcement in partnership with T-Mobile, it makes sense. It's just, to me, it's kind of like, well, if you're going to do that, why not include the flaps and the tiles so that you can test ship entry and landing and the flip and all of that stuff? But at the same time, as I think that, I also think, well, if you're relatively confident from the low altitude flight tests that you're going to be able to handle the flip and landing, and maybe it's less of an item on the critical path. Although certainly testing the thermal protection system and all the star bricks or star tiles or whatever they're called with re-entry heating, that does seem like something maybe you would want to test on an expendable mission anyways, just to have the data. But I am not a rocket scientist. I am not an engineer at SpaceX, so I will leave it to the people who are far smarter than I am. It looks like Alex, what are you saying in the back channel here? The engine chill vent is getting frosty?
Yeah, the line that we talk about that basically puts together all those vents from the engine chill, it seems like it is getting frosty. You can see there it is whiter than before. It's getting frosty. That's what it means. And so we may see that ground vent from the engine chill at any point now, just because of the... Yeah, go ahead, Adrian.
It could be a pre-chill, right? It could be a pre-chill of, like, basically get, a purge of these lines right now to prepare them for exactly that, right?
Yeah. You could.
I think we see it.
Oh, there you go.
Yep,
There
engine
it
chill
is.
vent.
And what's the timeline per your analysis, Adrian?
15
What would be the
minutes. So I think that fits very much what I said when we were about to go live. So like 6:30-ish. So yeah, I would still say 6:30-ish.
So that will mean, since we believe this is gonna be an actual static fire this time around, we might actually get some indications of a siren within 5 to 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, I mean that's based on previous the countdowns. Yes, that's the expectation. But again, they could change stuff. But yeah, right now I would say this was awfully close to a target of 6:30, and we kind of know that SpaceX really like to target these even numbers with some of the prototypes. So I would say right now the target is 6:30.
Where is that engine chill vent you're talking about? Because I remember the one that was on the orbital launch mount, right? I'm not seeing.
Oh, you missed that.
It's moved over to the side. That's that little cloud there at the base of the tower. Is that what we're talking about?
You're right on. Yep,
cool.
Totally right.
You know, sometimes when I'm asking a question, it's not because I don't know. It's because I'm trying to prompt an answer. I didn't miss anything. Thank you.
Well, but if you did miss, we can help you too, and we can help our viewers as well. So if you have any questions, you know what to do. Tag in chat and all of that.
Yeah, so if you're wondering where the engine chill vent went, it's no longer on the orbital launch mount. They installed some new plumbing. There was on a daily video recently, and now it is down there. You can see the little. It's a tiny little wisp at the bottom of the orbital launch tower. Of course, given the scale of things, it's much more than a tiny little wisp, but compared to the massive clouds coming from the LOX and methane subcoolers at the orbital tank farm, it is less. But I digress. Let's see here. Beep boop beep. Looking for some more questions. You know what? Before these get too stale here, some of these are getting really old. Telstar86, thank you for the support. And the kind words. Paul, thank you for the support. Complimenting our SLS coverage. Super appreciate it. Keith Carson, thank you. We appreciate that support as well. Kara Dean. What's up?
May I interrupt you a little bit? I believe I'm seeing frost on the bottom of the liquid oxygen tank. I'm scrubbing.
The head vent also started again.
Yeah, and that's expected, by the way, right?
Yeah, it's weird sometimes, but yeah. I agree with you. I think there is something there.
I'm scrubbing a little bit back on the YouTube live stream, and I do see the frost coming up, and as for the OLM vent, Adrian, correct me if I'm wrong. Before propellant load, it activates, but then stops, and then the propellant load begins. That's sort of the thinking. But then it can come back while they're doing propellant load. Like, just because it comes back doesn't mean any scrub or any abort or anything. It just comes back regularly.
I think it's just basically them controlling the flow of how much right now goes to the tanks, and just managing pressure and everything. I would expect it to be that way. Sorry, Jack, for interrupting you there.
Let's see here. Stephanie, thanks for the support. They say we need to purchase a spot robot. That would be awesome. I'm sure Das could do some amazing things with a robot dog with a camera on it. Carrie Yeen, thanks for the support. They're going to come down here for Labor Day and bring their tank top. It's SN8. If you bought the test tank top, that is SN8. Ron Smith, thank you for the support. Did we get more sleep during the last 24 hours or the entire STS-125 flight? I guess for me, STS-125. Colin, thank you for the support. Missed the shuttle era because they weren't born, but I'm glad they get to see the return to the moon. Or they're glad they get to see the return. Awesome, Colin. I'm glad we all get this exciting little bit of fun here with SLS, however long it takes. Likewise with Super Heavy.
Yeah, what an amazing time to be a rocket fan, right?
It is. It really is. Liam, thank you for the support. Asking if we eat toast with a fork or a spoon. That is, I don't even... What? John, thank you for the support. I eat it with my mouth. Let's see. John, thank you so much. Have they completed enough of the Earth and Flame diverters to test all of B7's Raptors? That's a good question. Unknown. we don't know. Although I don't know if we've seen too much work on them recently, but so maybe they've sufficiently protected what they wanted to protect with those new berms. Reby, thanks for the support. Layton Weber, thanks for becoming a Capcom member. You get Discord access to Capcom membership and above, so pop into Discord and say hey, and we super appreciate that support. Holy cow, ZZ3 Astro becoming a launch director member. You're awesome, ZZ3 Astro. You get your name at the end of NASA Spaceflight live episodes, in addition to all the other cool perks, including Discord access. Francisco becoming a Padrat member. You're awesome. PO Moving Pictures, Red Team member. Giga Chad Saul Goodman becoming a Red Team member. Hey, how about, oh my gosh, Better Call Saul. I don't even want to say anything other than, oh my gosh, Better Call Saul, because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. You know, people that haven't watched it yet, like Adrian, I'm guessing.
Yes.
But Overlord Raven, thank you for the support. Dorks, geeks, or nerds, what would you call yourselves? I am a human man. You can call me whatever you want. Byron, thank you for becoming a Red Team member. Lucas, Pat member, thank you. Hey, if you guys want to add some questions to the queue while I'm finishing off these last couple super chats here, that would be great. Lee Saigo, thank you for the support. Say no option to upgrade membership help. Somebody in chat, please help them. We're on stream here. Dog Cruz, thank you for the support. One of those names that pops up all the time. Get some coffee for people who were up early covering SLS. Also the people who did not sleep. Because we are mad, crazy people. Let's see here. Doot. Iron Kerman. Hi, NSF team. Just wanted to say thanks for providing all this amazing coverage. You guys have inspired me to pursue aerospace engineering at college, and I thank you for that. Have a wonderful day. That's amazing. Good luck in your college education, and hopefully, eventually, your career. So the booster's frosting up something good. We've got frost happening, and we've got the orbital launch mount sort of vent doing its thing. It's on again, but that's not necessarily bad. What was the T0 again, Adrian, that you suspected? 630?
Yeah, but with not having a siren at this point, there's always the possibility that they load more. So that's always the kinda issue we have, but I would still say 6:30ish. If it's later, it's later. Again, we are still in the very much figuring out phase of this countdown, but I would say still like less than 10 minutes, hopefully.
I mean,
One
go away.
there's also the possibility that they just don't do a siren, because sometimes they don't. It's not it's not an ironclad rule.
One difference that I would like to point out here, just before you go into more stuff, Jack, is that for the spin prime test that we saw on Thursday last week, we didn't actually see any frost on the vehicle. So this means that they're actually loading a little bit more propellants now on Booster 7. I'm not sure if that indicates that we're actually going for that static fire test or not, but there's also the possibility as well that even though we have the notice out, they might just do a spin prime test, and we shouldn't be too disappointed about that. But we should keep all cards on the table, like all options, and like we're hoping for a static fire test, but if it doesn't happen, it's not the end of the world, right? Let's keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, sure enough. That's a good point to make. And maybe they do a spin prime, and then maybe they do a static fire after that. We've got time in the window for both.
Yeah.
And really quick here, Alex, people in chat love it when you say propellant, so let's just have you say propellant really quick.
Now I do it right. Propellant.
Aww. Boo.
Aluminium
I know,
or
I know, I was
aluminum?
saying both. Both work.
I like aluminium just because it's fun, it's different. We need Chris B back. Let's
One
see.
thing that I'm noticing, again, sorry, Jack, from this camera view, actually, I think I'm seeing some vapors from the engines. It's hard to tell because it's a little bit far away, but I'm seeing
You're right.
vapors coming up from the vehicle from underneath, right underneath. That's not the place of the oil and vent. So they're
Yeah, you're
chilling
right.
the engines.
Dare I say they're conducting an engine bleed?
Yeah, that's
Too soon.
the technical term.
You know, if engine 3 on SLS is not going to successfully bleed, why didn't they just cut it more?
Oh, wow.
Oh, come on.
That was way too satisfying. I have
like
no apologies.
two painful voices just lingering. Oh my god.
Ugh.
It sounded like I physically hurt both of you. Oh, no regrets. So yeah, we are gonna keep watching the booster here and keeping our eyes on things as they progress. I'm getting yelled at in Discord. Oh my god! And chat has gone wild. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll
Even
be better.
in multiple channels on the Discord, I see people being disappointed.
Yes.
Wow, this is spreading.
I am seeing notifications just fly in right now. Wouldn't be surprised if I had a Twitter DM, someone being like, "Jack, stop it." Let's see here. Jester Tiger is sort of asking a relevant question here. How much fuel or LOX frosting should we expect for a 3-engine fire versus a 33-engine fire? I mean, obviously, I think it makes sense to say that a 33-engine fire would have far more. I mean, that's like a common sense answer, right?
Oh yeah.
Adrian, how would you expand on the thought? Is there anything that you would add?
Yeah, this booster right now is empty. So even if you, imagine 33 Raptor engines basically having no counterweight and pushing against this. This would be... I think the structural load is not possible to hold by anything. So... yeah, I'm not sure. They would for sure run into issues, I feel like, with a basically empty booster trying to hold down 33 Raptor engines. So I would expect a more fueled vehicle.
Yeah, I will expect a fully frosted vehicle for that one.
Yeah, that would make
I'm not
sense.
expecting a ship on top, by the way. I'm betting on that. You can
Do you
put it
think-
right down.
Like maybe not for the first 33-engine static fire, but do you think at some point they would do even just a single-engine static fire once the ship is stacked, or no?
Oh,
What
yeah.
Do you think?
That I can bet on. Yeah, but I don't think the ship is actually needed for a 33-engine static fire. I'm
Alright.
betting against chances, I guess, but that's what I think.
Did the engine chill vent stop? And start again?
It seemed like it. At least it has faded away.
Yeah, but because a pulse pattern on that might indicate a firing soon. It's like 2 minutes, right, Alex?
Yeah, it could be within 2 minutes. And there's another indicator that we might be able to see from the other camera view, which is from the other side. There's like some burst vent, excuse me, and yeah. So from the right side view here, near the QD on the booster, there's like some vent that it's like push and like it bursts, and that indicates that we're within 20 seconds or so from a firing. I'm not sure why that happens. Not fully thought
Could be
about
the
that
lines quick
yet.
disconnecting.
That could also be the case as well. Yeah. Again, I will have to put a little bit of thought on that. I've been too busy thinking about the orange rocket.
That actually
yeah.
was a call out. There was a call out on the ship countdown. On the ship countdown, it was called in one stream that was basically the disconnect of the vehicle. So that huge burst suddenly was a disconnect of the vehicle from the tank farm. So this might be the case here as well, where they just basically let the vehicle stay on its own and fire.
All right, seconds away from 6:30. Let's see if anything happens. Nope.
Nope.
But still, something maybe soon.
Yeah, we just don't know.
Indeed. Well, we could still be just moments away, so we'll keep our eyes on the prize, and of course we will shush in case we get any good audio there. Matt Z is asking, how does the propellant stay cold once it's loaded? Is it through pressure release?
Basically, as far as I understand it, it's a constant boil off. So there's you have constant boil off and constant basically propellants escaping the liquid state, but you can always top off. We kind of talked about that a lot today with SLS, because also there's this stable replenishment state where you basically top off everything that boils off, and if you would leave Starship for a longer period of time, at some point the LOX and methane would just boil off as well, because you cannot keep them cool for infinite amount of time in this vehicle. They will heat up. You cannot stop that.
Indeed. Good question from Matt there. I got my eyes glued on the base of the booster there, hoping to see some action. Once again, if you're just tuning in, Mary did get an overpressure notice today, so we are expecting a potential static fire. This could also just be a spin prime test, and they could do a static fire later on in the window. We have an hour and a half left in the window. Who knows what test we are hopefully about to see, but either way, the booster has a frost ring on. Is it both sections, or is it just the methane tank there? Or sorry, the LOX tank there.
I think it's only the LOX tank, right? I don't see anything on the methane tank.
Yeah, that
I don't
makes sense.
see anything either.
Alrighty, well, hopefully we get some good testing and SpaceX gets some good data. That's what we want to see. I'm still drowning in notifications here from people yelling at me about the dad joke. I literally have multiple DM. Oh god, and multiple people yelling at me, multiple discords. I have no regrets. Let's see. We sort of touched on this earlier. Rankley asked, does Ship 24 have to be stacked on B7 for a full static fire to weigh it down? We don't necessarily think so. Right, Alex?
Yeah, at least myself, I don't expect it, but maybe Adrian has another idea.
Yes, I'm again against that opinion, and I right now expect that to happen, that the 33 engine static fire will happen with the vehicle on top. But I mean, it's fun and spicy that we have different opinions, right? That makes it fun.
Yeah.
Did you say it's fun and spicy?
Yeah.
Okay. It's fun and spicy.
Is that a wording that I should not use in English?
No, it just kind of caught me off guard. Like, maybe it's just because I'm hungry and I haven't slept much. But like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like at a fast food place, like, do you want the cold and mild, or do you want the fun and spicy, or do you want the angry and sad? Like, oh,
Hey.
I'll take the fun and spicy.
Angry and sad sounds like not a very pleasant food to order.
Yeah, it would just be like muck, like some mud in a cup.
And it's very, very, very spicy still. Like it's still very spicy. It's not tasteful, just mud that is very spicy.
Okay, let's move on. I'm getting disgusted now with myself.
Tino, do you know how long I'm hungry?
Hey, problem solved.
No problem,
Let's see
Silver.
here. Whitney and John Cook asking, which launch is first, SLS or orbital launch test from Starbase?
SLS.
This is a really fun question because for a while the answer was Starship. We all kind of thought Starship was the lock, and then recently we all thought SLS was the lock, and now, not knowing how this engine bleed issue with SLS is going to go, I don't know. I mean, they could roll SLS back because of this. They could attempt again on Friday, and then on Monday they have 2 more attempts before they have to roll back for the FTS to be recertified. But yeah, I mean, if they don't go with SLS by Monday, then the next opportunity is what, sometime in October?
No, there's one more window, I think, at the very end of September, right? Or like 20th of September. But I think that at some point, because if they roll back for repairs, they might do repairs, and that might take some time as well. So you're kind of also sacrificing that window at some point as well. So I think the next one then starts on the 15th of October. Yeah, so I feel like if they don't make it this window, it might be very easy that they go to the 15th of October. That's my prediction right now. That it might go to October, and even then, I still think that SLS should beat Starship, because I don't.
That is exactly my sentiment. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, do we expect a Starship to fly before the 15th of October? Because I right now don't.
Well, in one of the Discords that I'm in, I think all 3 of us are in, we did a bet, and I for that bet I said October 31st was when it would fly by. So I don't know if I would still stand by that, but I think that's sort of like the earliest possible that it could fly is sometime in the second half of October if they really knock out all the engine tests that they possibly can as fast as they possibly can. But even then, that seems relative. Like, I don't think I'm going to win that bet. I'll put it that way. So yeah, I think SLS goes first. Alex, what do you think? Oh, and we have a poll in chat. Alex, do you have any thoughts here?
I don't even know at this point. It's hard to tell.
It really depends on what news we get tomorrow about the
Yeah.
situation and how bad it is and what they're going to need to do to mitigate or fix or whatever. I suspect they will try again either on Friday or Monday, the 2nd or the 5th. One of the 2 or both, but I'm not optimistic. I'll put it that way.
One thing that I would like to point out right now is that we not seen the ground engine chill vent. We saw the Pope vent stop as well, the one from the tank farm.
There is a little bit of vapor down there, though, in that engine chill vent area. Do you see what I'm talking about? Between the orbital launch mount legs and that structure?
No, that's coming from the OLM vent. So the OLM vent kind of drips a little bit of that liquid nitrogen that they use, and I believe what you're seeing is just it drips to the ground and it pulls off.
Aha. Okay.
So that's what you're likely seeing. The engine chill vent is way more to the left. Is more where the draw works for the tower are located, on the left view. It's more around that point.
That makes sense. Let's
And-
see here. Go ahead.
And I might be seeing things, but I'm also kind of thinking the engine chill vent lines are also getting less frosty. Like I'm scrubbing back, and they were more covered with ice before. So not sure what happened, but it might not be a good sign. Let's wait anyways, right? And keep looking.
Yeah, sure enough. I mean, they have plenty of time left in the window to
Mhm.
to get things sorted out and do another test if they did in fact abort. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they're just holding for a moment. We'll see what happens. That's just sort of how it goes. You know, little thing called Texas tank watching. And Michael, thank you in a back channel saying no depress means no abort. So we're likely holding or at least progressing or holding, one of the two, but no abort yet.
Yeah.
Just sort of waiting to see
Yeah.
what happens next here. Definitely a lot of condensation coming from underneath the vehicle itself in the engine bay area. If you look at the base of the orbital launch mount right in the dead center there. So that's nice and healthy looking.
Okay, can I address something that I'm seeing right now? I'm seeing quite a few comments about this. So people are claiming that, you know, NASA, the government, will stop Starship because for whatever reason for SLS. Guys, Booster 7 is still not ready for launch. Let's be clear with that, because we've talked about who goes to orbit first, and I think that's what was spurred that kind of conversation on the chat. Let's be honest, Starship is not ready for launch, and frankly, as we saw today, maybe SLS isn't ready for launch either. There's literally no paperwork right now stopping Starship from testing and from continuing with engine testing as we're seeing today, right? There's nothing
Yeah.
on the paperwork side right now that is stopping SpaceX from continuing testing. And once they do the testing, once they do all of the firings and all of the whatever they want to do, then you might say, oh well, the paperwork, whatever. But we don't really know when that paperwork, the launch license will appear. So until it appears, my personal opinion, at least, it's that kind of conversation is moot, because there's no point in that.
Indeed.
Yeah, and also as I was kind of reminded of that, NASA needs Starship. There was also conversation today on the SLS live stream that SpaceX is gonna go for a static fire on Monday because Elon wants to steal the thunder from SLS. No, that's not how it works in real life. NASA wants this rocket to work as many people, like as many of us here want it to work. If they do a static fire today and it is successful, NASA will be clapping along. They will be happy as we are today. Okay, and like that's progress towards HLS, towards landing people back on the moon. Like that's a big deal. And Starship is gonna be that vehicle that will land people back on the moon, and we gotta keep that in mind. NASA is totally behind this program.
Yeah, it's kind of cool day for this because both rockets that we saw today, SLS and Starship, need to work for a moon landing. So if one of them is not working right now, we still have to go a long way to the moon. So we need both. We need SLS and we need Starship.
Let's see here. Ryan Thompson, thanks for the support. DJ Red Rover, thank you for the support. Booster's not at an angle with regards to the tower. Well, it's not the leaning tower of Booster. Thomas, thank you for the support. If any NSF team member was offered a seat on an orbital flight of Starship, would you take it? Yes.
No.
Not the orbital test flight, but an orbital flight. Yes.
Oh yeah, any flight. I would have.
I saw what you said earlier. You said you like floor.
Yes, I like floor a lot.
Do you really love
And
floor, or are you just saying that? See, you haven't
and
seen
also,
the movie
like,
I'm
access-
referencing, so you don't know how hilarious that is. But you should watch the movie.
Which movie?
Anchorman.
Okay. Never heard of it. Sorry.
William Hart, thank you for the support. Asking about Fifth Element. Nice timing there. Joey Reynolds, thank you for becoming a Capcom member. Lysigo still can't upgrade. Sorry, Lysigo. I would be more help if I was not on a stream right now. But thank you for wanting to upgrade your membership there. Sean Flick, thank you for the support. Buzzed Lightyear, thank you for becoming a flight engineer member. Holy cow, I think it's our top level of support. Thank you so much, Buzzed Lightyear. We hope you enjoy all the sweet perks. Tyson Gilmore, thank you for the support. Gabriel, Padrat member, thank you. Supernova, thank you for the support. Flawed Perspective, thank you for the support. Makablat, thank you for the support. Asking, couldn't SLS engines be tested on the pad to prevent what happened yesterday? Well, I mean, today, also. I guess depending on where you are around the world. I mean, that's what the green run was for, right? And they did test it, but issues pop up when you're in a full-on flight configuration. It was like we said during the press conference today. They don't know until they try, and they tried to fly, and so now they know. Corey,
They should have called it an orange run, by the way.
Yes, sold. 100% on board. I'm sold.
Thank you.
Corey, thank you for the support. They say, fueling, how much loss of propellant do we expect orbital refilling or if any? Thank you for all you guys. This is like a complicated question. I don't think we really know the answer to, but yeah, surely there'll be some loss, and hopefully it'll be not so appreciable, but can't wait either way until we have a fuel depot in orbit. Hashtag depot.
Hashtag redacted.
Hashtag,
yeah.
hashtag Senator Shelby, redacted. Colton Steen, thank you for the support. Asking about no frost on the methane tank. Yeah, it's not a big deal that there's no frost on the methane tank. It could just be in the common dome and therefore not frosting the outside of the tank because it's not that full. Beer King 08, thank you for the support. Is this going to be caught when launched or a test? They might catch it. They might just ditch it in the Gulf of Mexico. The ship, however, is going to end up off the coast of Hawaii in the Pacific Ocean. Brent Picasso, thank you for the support. They say they just need to tap that valve with a hammer. A little bit of percussive maintenance. Nothing wrong with that. It's like Spike says in Cowboy Bebop, my ship works better when I hit it. Go ahead.
Was that MK1 where we had that view of them hitting it with a slag hammer?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
That was hilarious, just seeing an orbital prototype of a prototype of an orbital class rocket just being hit with a slag hammer.
Yeah, there was one time when I was in Boca. I think it was when they were working on. I might have been working on SN1, and there was a worker just wanging on the thing with a hammer, and then the hammer broke. It's like you go back like 2 years in the daily videos. It's somewhere in one of the daily videos. But yeah, even sometimes the implement you're using for percussive maintenance breaks, and then what do you do? Joel, thank you for the support. Thanking us for working non-stop day and night. How many likes can we get on this video before the test? Hopefully we see a test. Marcus, and I'm almost done with these here. Saying, once Starship is fully rapidly reusable, will Starship need to perform regular static fires after each catch? If so, will it if there is a booster on the orbital launch mount? I mean, they static fire Falcon 9 before every flight, but that does not mean that that's what they will do with Starship. So, it's tricky. It's tricky to say one way or the other how things will go. I certainly don't see them static firing a ship on the chopsticks. That's just insane, and also how would it get connected to fuel and all that stuff. It seems kind of onerous to catch the stick with the chopsticks, put it on the ground, move it over to the suborbital side, put it on a suborbital pad, do a static fire, then move it back over to the orbital side, then put it back on top of the boot. That seems like a lot. So I'm kind of leaning maybe no, but we'll have to see what happens.
Also, they already started for some Starlings to stop static firing before flying, right? We saw that before.
Yeah, very good point. Very good point. I mean, ideally, if Starship needs to be like an airliner and it needs to be fully and rapidly reusable, then, you know, you don't do some kind of crazy engine test on an airliner, like holding the whole entire plane down and, you know, doing some crazy stuff. Like, it's a plane. You fill it back up with fuel, you get back on the runway, you bring the engines up to takeoff power, you see that they're at takeoff power and all is good, and then you let the brakes off and you take off. So I think that's basically akin to firing up the engines, at least of the booster, on the pad, and like the whole computer doing the pre-release check kind of deal, like we see on Falcon 9. Like if the computer sees anything weird as the engines start, it shuts everything down and aborts. Not really needed to do a whole static fire kind of deal, but who knows what they'll end up doing. At first, too, it could be different than what they end up doing operationally, just in the same way that Adrian just mentioned that they are. I completely lost my train of thought. I need more caffeine.
They stopped it on Falcon 9 for Starlings.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly.
No problem.
And
Also,
let's see here. Where did that go in chat?
Can I
yes,
point something out?
I know planes static fire before takeoff with the brakes on. I just said that. Thank you, Gelisab. Go ahead, Adrian.
Can I point out how weird this is right now? Like, this seems awfully quiet. That's just my, like, this is no D-tank, but it's also, look at the log side of the tank farm, look at the methane side of the tank farm. There's basically nothing going on anymore. This is...
It feels like they loaded LOX and maybe a little bit of methane into the booster, and now we've sort of entered a hold, and we are sort of holding. Yeah. Maybe they are working an issue. Maybe they are intentionally, you know, chilling things down and holding it there for whatever reason. It could be a test. It could be an issue that's cropped up. We don't have visibility into that, but definitely interesting to note the state of things right now.
Yeah. Just want to point it out because this is definitely on the weirder side of what we have seen so far with this vehicle.
Yep. Tony, thanks for the support. Pickled Tripod, thank you for the support. The Gifted Joiner, thank you. Trevor Boyce, thanks for becoming a PadRat member. Tom the Toad, thank you. Jerwa, thank you. Proud to be funding the NSF sleep deprivation studies since 2019. Gordon, thank you for becoming a PadRat member. The Sandwich Maker, thank you for the support. Aaron Shushan, thank you for becoming a PadRat member. And last up, Roseanne Devasto, thank you so much for that generous amount of support there. Appreciating our multinational, our acknowledgement of multinational exploration of space. The sooner we all realize we're really a whole humankind endeavor, the faster we'll progress. Couldn't have said it better myself. We're all are flying through space on a single spaceship that is called Earth together. Yeah, this definitely seems like a hold.
Yeah. The question is why now. The question is either because they want to and just, yeah, maybe want to just test something, look at something before, or if there's something came up and they were like, okay, stop the count, we need to look at this first. So there are multiple reasons why you can hold, right? Planned and unplanned.
But as some people from the Southern Hemisphere will say, I don't want to hold again. So let's hope they resume the testing really soon.
Yeah, the problem with a hold with cryogenics is always, as we mentioned before, they are getting warmer right now. So you need to, at some point, replenish them to have still the cryogenics in there because they will be boil off.
How's chill lines looking right now? Are they Still frosty? Not frosty? What do we? What's the sitch?
Doesn't look frosty to me, right? There.
It looks a little bit frostier, to be honest. I'm kind of like scrolling just 5 minutes ago. It looked more defrosted. Now it is a little bit frosted, like on the left side of that line going up from the. It actually goes the other way around, but you know what I mean, right?
I think the methane side of tank farm started to live a bit again, but it's not that much. It's really quiet. I cannot stress this enough. I wish I had like a smart thing to say about what's going on here right now, but it's really a waiting game.
The waiting game sucks. Who wants to play Hungry Hungry Hippos?
What is Hungry Hungry Hippos?
Well, first off, that was a Simpsons reference. Second
my
off,
God. But
how do you not know what Hungry Hungry Hippos is?
to be fair, I watched it in German, so I'm
How
not
would-
sure if the translation is called the same in German.
How would you say Hungry Hungry Hippos in German? Auf Deutsch.
Oh boy.
Hungrige Nilpferde?
I love it. Alex, how about ¿Cómo se dice Hungry Hungry Hippos en español?
Oh boy. Hipopótamos hambrientos. Es que. It's that.
Nice.
I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. Let's put it that way.
All right.
I don't actually know the translation in Spanish of that game.
I'm seeing multiple people in chat saying that yes, aircraft test their engines on the taxiway before each and every flight. I know, I said that. Did I not say that? I am aware, but it is different than a static fire. Is the point I was trying to make. Maybe it's a bad point. Maybe I made a bad point. That's okay. I can be bad sometimes. Let's see here. Dawn is asking, can they get an extension on the road closer tonight? Right? That's something we've seen them do
Yes.
before. And sometimes they don't even get an extension. They just keep testing, keep the road closed.
Yeah, but it's certainly a possibility. We have seen that before, and sometimes they pop up just. We saw some extension pop up after they were done, like, and now we are updating the website. Cool.
Let's see here. Crypto Supply Shop is asking, what is the legality of being a human-rated starship? If astronauts board Starship from Dragon in orbit, does it have to be human-rated? I think that's like a NASA thing, right? Like NASA needs to human-rate it for NASA astronauts to fly on it. But if, say, a random civilian wants to pay to jump on a Starship from a Dragon, that doesn't necessarily need to go through an intense rigmarole. Maybe some FAA stuff? I don't know. This is kind of like beyond my knowledge base here. Does anyone want to contribute to an answer to this question?
Yeah, I think you're right in that that NASA sets requirements for their astronauts. They are basically saying, okay, this is our people, this is our astronauts. We have certain requirements that a vehicle needs to fulfill for crew to fly on this vehicle. And since they are the customer, for example with Falcon 9 and Dragon, they can set requirements. It's kind of like they bought a contract with certain things they want to be fulfilled in this contract, which is, for example, the whole certification process.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then and then if it were other customers, maybe they imposed less restrictions, or they're cooler with less testing or less oversight. Well, all in all, from a legality standpoint, right? At least as of right now, that might change next year because of a lot of legal stuff going on there. That I won't go into that right now, but if they wanted to go into a Starship, they don't really need that kind of
Engine
approval from
chill is
NASA.
starting again.
Yep,
Oh,
look at that.
again?
You can see the vapors there at the base of the orbital launch tower. It's not really at the base of the orbital launch tower, but the foreshortening of the telephoto lens sort of makes it look like that's where it is. But you look at the base of the orbital launch tower, that's where you can, orient your gaze to see what we're talking about. That is it's a good sign. Hopefully we
See,
get
that's
to move into some testing here.
it's funny because that's the only point right now during the live stream that I stood up because I've been for a long time on my chair and I wasn't looking at the other feeds. So good to
Oh,
know.
did I say base of the orbital launch mount? I meant base of the orbital launch tower. That's my bad.
Yeah, the tower. The tower. Hmm.
My bad. Again, lack of sleep. Let's see here. Really quick, but might as well do this before we get into any kind of serious testing here. Thank you to all the members and everyone that's doing the super chats. Another way to support what we do is the merch store. It is awesome that people want to buy and rep our merch. Just really quickly, there's all kinds of cool stuff that you can get. Waiting for the merch to pop up in the video. Either way, check out the merch store. If there's anything that tickles your fancy, there we go. We got the metal prints, we've got the t-shirts, we got Artemis merch, we've got SLS merch, we've got all kinds of fun stuff for you to check out. And unlike the super chats or the membership program, this gives you a physical item in return. Obviously, it's merch. You're buying merch. So anything tickles your fancy, please consider supporting us in that way. But I won't talk your ear off about it. I think that's probably good enough. We got a whole bunch of designs. Check them out. If you like something, go for it. Here we go. Here's a fun Kerbal-esque question. Xeno Studio is asking, if we attach the booster side by side like Falcon Heavy, can we send Starship with a full tank to orbit? I think, unfortunately, that is not how the rocket equation works. But that's sure a fun visual to think about, right?
I feel like 3 super heavies can send a lot of stuff somewhere.
Yeah,
but
okay,
on
maybe.
the other hand, do you want to build a ground infrastructure to handle 3 super heavies?
Yeah, at that point you need a whole entire different ground infrastructure. It's a whole different vehicle. It's not something we think they're actually going to do, but it's kind of a fun question I wanted to pull out there. Super heavy.
Can we call it super duper heavy?
Super duper heavy. That's way better. Extra heavy.
Yeah. It's late.
It is. Paragon, thank you for gifting 5 Red Team memberships. That's awesome of you. If you got one of those memberships, say hey in chat. People in chat are freaking out about a super duper heavy having 99 engines. 99 Raptor engines. All right, I'll stop.
Feels
That's a
bad.
German
It
song,
needs
sir.
an extra one.
Let's see here. Brad is asking, will anyone be getting an island vacation, I assume they mean Hawaii, to watch the splashdown of Starship? Will it even be visible? I think it might be visible, but it's like, do you want to go all the way to Hawaii to watch the splashdown, or do you want to go to Texas and watch the launch? Me personally, I would love to see the splashdown, but I would not be able to resist seeing launch. The launch is the craziest thing of all. I mean, it's tricky though. It's a tricky question.
I wouldn't go to either.
Because you want to be online, because you want the best coverage online.
Yes.
Because when you're,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, it's just when. Perfect example is today at the SLS attempt. There was a period of time where I was just negative comms. I just could not connect to anything, and being the person or one of the people with boots on the ground, running around taking photos and doing all that, while there's hundreds of people around all trying to use the same networks, things get swamped fast, and so it's harder to know what's going on than if you are at home and sort of keeping your finger on the pulse the way that you can when you're at your computer and you have a good internet and you can look at 3 different sources at once and have multiple screens and all that. So I get that answer. Alex, what about you? If you could, would you go to Hawaii to watch Starship Splashy Splishy Splash?
I actually wouldn't go because it's too long to get there.
Oh yeah, what is that, like a
it's
20-hour
nice here.
flight or something for you?
Yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah,
that.
it's literally on the other side of the world for me.
Yikes.
I'm not sure I will enjoy that, just to maybe, perhaps, see something, which,
Yeah.
nope. It's a no
Yeah,
for me.
I have to. I have to say, looking at like all of these indicators, especially, like that's, I feel like, mine and also Alex's thing. We are looking at all of these indicators, and we love to do that and get into these nitty-gritty details of Starship, and that's, I feel like, really hard to do from the field. Like, getting, like, you, of course you can take your laptop with you. You can always sit there and be like with your laptop. But then what's the point going there if I will be sitting there in front of 2 or 3 screens or a laptop and look at them?
Yeah, I really try during launches to, when I can, look at it with my own eyes. But most of the time I'm looking through a camera lens or a phone screen or both, or first one then the other. And yeah, it's, you really need to watch it with your eyes to fully appreciate, I think. We've said that before on streams, and I think it really bears out. But yeah, we've got 55 minutes left in the window. They could extend the window. We've seen them do that before. An overpressure notice went out. Mary got the overpressure notice, which is why we are live. We are hoping for a static fire test. We are unsure what they are actually going to test. At this point, we look like we were in a hold for a while there, and the engine chill vent is now going again. So hopefully out of a hold, and hopefully approaching a time where they will do a static fire. That's sort of a quick recap if you've just joined us. Let's see here.
Puffing a bit.
Hey,
Puffed?
Whitney and John Cook asking, this is probably an Alex question, could Dragon be sent on an orbit around the moon aboard Falcon Heavy? Maybe. I think they're sort of thinking of a Falcon Heavy and Dragon version of the Artemis 1 flight. Alex, using your Falcon 9 knowledge, what do you want to say about this?
Yeah, so with a Falcon Heavy, you kind of have the performance. The only problem is Dragon is actually not rated for going into deep space. And for example, one of the most simple examples of that, it doesn't communicate with a deep space network. You will need a way to communicate with that, which needs different antennas and all of that. You also need a different navigation system to be able to go into deep space. It has a star tracker, but obviously it only works for navigation around the Earth in that sense, because you will need to modify the way it kind of reads where it is, right, to be able to guess, to be able for the computer to actually tell where it is in space and things like that. Just from that standpoint, you will need to undergo modifications with Dragon. Now, does it mean it is impossible? Not. So like those modifications might be doable. The other thing I will point out is SpaceX was kind of at one point had this as a goal with sort of the Dear Moon project that we see right now with the Starship. Prior to that, it was actually a flight around the moon with a Dragon. It will be Yusaku Maezawa with another person, and that will be it. It will be two people. Now it is on a Starship around the moon, and everything is sort of the same thing. But instead of being on Falcon Heavy and Dragon, it is with a Starship. And instead of being 2 persons, two people, it will be just like 8, 9 people inside Starship, which is much nicer.
Yeah, at this point, it also just want to point out, at this point it looks like there's like small little puffers coming out of these engines below that booster. And yeah, it looks like they're coming from like very distinguished positions. So it looks like it's really coming out of these nozzles and certain nozzles. It's hard to get like a certain amount, but you can see like it's puffing out of these. I'm really looking at that. So yeah, thanks for pointing that out, Michael, in the back channel. But it's like we see a methane, like the methane engine still going strong. We see the engine still being cooled. Like this vehicle is not saved or like in process of saved. This is still active and holding. Yeah, it's just it's still going on, and so far we are just waiting on like the final actions before this vehicle will fire. But yeah,
So
very
you're
calm.
telling me, so you're telling me there's a chance.
Yes, I'm telling you, there's a chance.
That's also a movie reference. Go watch Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, I was about to ask on which movie that is. I know the meme, but I don't know the movie. I like memes, but I don't watch movies.
One of these days, I'm gonna fly to Germany, or you're gonna fly here, and instead of actually like doing things and going places, we're just gonna watch a bunch of movies. Jukes in chat gets it. Jukes says, "Big gulps, huh?" Well, see you later.
Well, I know that meme as well because you post it a lot.
Yeah, that's like one of my favorite gifs of all time.
Yeah, I think you sometimes post it when you comment into chats like late at night and just post one message and then go away again. Like
Yep,
that's
it's the perfect gif. Let's see. Doot. Yeah, I mean 40 minutes. No, 50 minutes. Yeah, 50 minutes to go. I can do math.
People
50
still doing hungry hippos in Spanish on the chat.
Somebody said in German it's called hippo flip. Well, in Germany, it's just got a different English name.
Oh, yeah, I got people also DMing me with pictures of it, and I think I remember some commercials from that game. I never played it myself, but now I connected now.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
okay,
I know.
small derail. One of my favorite Twitch channels, I've shown it to both of you, is a channel called what is it? It's something. It's a Simpsons channel, and they play episodes of The Simpsons that were recorded in the '90s. So they have '90s commercials, and I watch those almost for the commercials more than the episodes of The Simpsons. Now I suddenly really want to see like an old German commercial for Hungry Hippos. I feel like that would give me weird nostalgia vibes, even though I obviously didn't grow up in Germany. Anyways, Booster,
By the way,
do something, please.
well.
Go ahead, Alex.
Yes, please.
I was about to say the version in Spanish is tragabolas, which means eating balls, basically, which is what the hippos do.
Yeah.
Nice. People in chat are giving me guff for not remembering the channel name. It's Daily Simpsons, okay? Get off my back. Let's see here. If you have any questions at NASASpaceflight, throw your question in chat while we wait for the booster to hopefully fire up.
Second now. We say no for the past 45 minutes.
Yeah, right. Here's a question. Since we're not seeing this, it's good to talk about what it is, in case we do start to see it. Aaron is asking, what does the defueling process look like if they don't test? That's when we talk about like a depress vent, right?
Yes.
And all of that good stuff. Where did it go?
So you will see, I think it should be 6 vents that you can see from, like, I think it's 8, right? It's 2 of these, I don't know, mustache, I still call them mustache vents, of the, in the middle of the tank, on each side. So that's 4 there in the middle, and you also have 4 at the top, basically just below grid fin level. That also will go. So you will see 8 vents from in different kinds of intensities going, and you will also you will hear it, you will see it. It will be quite obvious once they go for detanking. It's a very obvious sign that all of these vents are just going and they're depressurizing it.
Yeah, those are the vents that were previously just vents, and now they've sort of covered them with giant cowbell-looking covers that redirect the vents, and they're now going to be repurposed as RCS thrusters. But also, when they are depressing the vehicle, that is where we see the venting from. So, a little multi-purpose action there. Is everyone in chat just commenting what Hungry Hippos is called in their national language? Like, this is amazing. Let's see.
Somebody in chat is saying they must be doing a T-minus 40-minute hold.
Oh god,
Too soon.
Too soon.
Too soon.
Too soon. Too soon.
I maintain that they should have just cut engine 3 more. You know, get a nice like X-Acto knife, send the guy up with like tape it to a stick so he can be far away enough that it's safe. Cut the engine. It'll bleed
And
more.
the intern.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like when I say we, I wasn't around as a commentator then, joked around the Hoppy time, where it was like, if it didn't light, just send the intern with a candle.
Looking for some more questions. Let's see here. Andy is asking, do you think they're waiting for perfect lighting? That's hilarious.
Oh,
No?
depress.
Is that a
We have a
depress?
depress. Yep.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, that's. Yeah, we should basically
Not a good
say
sign.
expectation here. That means probably that they're saving the vehicle, right?
Saving the vehicle. Well, did it stop? Now it stopped. Let's wait and see what happens. But that could have been an initial depress as part of an abort. But we will wait and see. Obviously, the window has 45 minutes left in it. And the orbital launch mount vent is active again.
It could also be
Well-
that they get to a certain pressure in the tanks again and then refill it. So basically reset to a certain point in the countdown and then start from there again. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's over yet, but I would at least wager the chance that this is not a great sign. So yeah.
Yep, I would be inclined to
Stay
agree
tuned.
with that sentiment. It wasn't like a full depress, like sustained, open the valves and let everything kind of bleed off. So, yeah, it could. I mean, as the cryogenic propellants warm up, it you
Yeah.
know it stands to reason that pressure inside the tank decreases. So you're going to want to periodically do a vent like that. Although I guess that's kind of what the engine chill and methane and LOX chills are for. I don't know. Trying to be optimistic here.
I could see a reality where they at some point need to vent some gas because it's boiling. And yeah, I mean, we basically the same effect we saw with these test tanks. What they always use. So with these test tanks that we saw before, what they do to pressurize them is basically close every valve and wait. Because then you will boil off, at some point everything will expand and you will increase pressure. That same effect is also now going on inside this booster at some point. If you don't vent, and you just have like a line of liquid in there that boils, you will have increasing pressure.
Yep. Wheatfield Rails in chat saying, I don't think that was a full depress. No way, that was not. That was just a quick little pressurization vent, depress vent, whatever you want to call it, but not a full one. Let's see, there was another one that I wanted to pull out over here.
On the left side, the lock side of the tank farm also has a new vent active. Did we see that during tanking previously, or was that more a non-tanking vent, to call it like that?
Right there on the right side of the frame.
Sorry, on the sorry, I was on a different camera. Can we, Patrick? Can we go to the beach side of the cameras so we can see the other side of the tank farm for a moment?
Oh, coming off one of the tanks itself.
Yes, there's on the left side of the tank farm. There it is. So that's and wow. Okay,
And of
talk
course
about
it stopped.
commentator jinx.
Yeah, right.
That was the most commentator jinx I've ever experienced so far. That was insane. But
Was
there
that
was a
the
vent, I
second-
swear.
Was that the second tank on the left?
The first
think it
tank on
was-
the left.
Yeah, I think it was first
Oh,
on the left.
okay. First.
Well, Adrian, if your commentator jinx does not involve a vehicle exploding, then I think we're all good. Achilles Soul in
Me-
chat is saying this day is cursed. I'm kind of inclined to agree.
Yeah.
You know, I realized the other day was the 3rd anniversary of the Starhopper flight.
Yep, the 28th, right?
I believe so.
Good old
Num
Starhopper.
yeah, the
Still there.
28th.
Still going strong.
Mm,
Well, 41
I mean, at
minutes
this
to
point,
go in the window. At this point, what do you think,
Yeah.
Adrian?
at this point, we are kind of. I feel like we are kind of waiting for more signals that they are really detanking, or signals to a new flow. I think another signal we have seen in the past that they are really detanking is the actual recondenser pipe, which is on the. If you look now on the. Oh, the path vent is going on again. On the left side of the tank, of the left camera, we see the left side of the tank farm. There's a black pipe going vertical, right between these small vertical tanks. And if that pipe starts, usually that's also not a good sign. So, oh, it started. I swear I'm not doing this intentional right now. But yeah, that's the pipe I was talking about. See right there.
Let's see here. Mohammed is asking, what will be the next step after the booster static fires 33 engines? I think do it again, maybe for longer. What do you think, Alex?
That's a good question. So that's after whenever we see the 33 engine static fire test, right? That's sort of the gist of the question.
Yep.
I'm thinking another static fire test, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's actually longer than just a short one. Another static fire test of all engines, by the way, like not just again one engine, 3 engines, and so on, but like once they do 33, I think they're gonna go for a little bit longer, maybe, just to
Yeah.
test the booster.
Yeah, that makes sense. You know,
Stress test.
that long duration single engine fire we got the other day kind of threw me for a loop there. Like, oh, they might do long duration firings here and there. So we're seeing the
Recondenser is
go.
on, by the way. Oh,
Yeah,
That's a bad sign. That's what I put out, yeah.
Recondenser going is at the orbital tank farm generally is a indicator that we are wrapping up, right? Is that what we're thinking,
Yeah.
Adrian?
Yeah, basically in the countdown you will see small puffs from it on the going horizontally. That's what we see in the countdown. The actual pipe going like this so far was not a great sign. And also we saw a depress vent, the engine chill vent is no longer going. Let's be real, at this point there's not a lot of good signs here anymore for testing today.
Yep. Unfortunately, that seems to be how things are trending, but it is what it is. This is why you test. Obviously, we're going to stay sticking around, keeping an eye on things until we know it's done and over, because you never know with SpaceX what they could possibly do. But as for right this instant, 7:22:33 p.m. Central Daylight Time, not looking great.
I think going a quick AB, I think also the frost line is starting to melt.
Alrighty, well.
Also not a good sign, by the way.
Yeah, sure enough. Astrohoff, thanks for the support. Chubbs the Clown, thanks for the support. Asking about human landing system. Could they send Starship up, refuel it in orbit, send a Crew Dragon to meet it, then Starship to the moon with crew aboard it to meet HLS, then return Starship and rendezvous with Dragon for landing? Yes. That seems entirely possible to me. KS, thanks for the support. When do you think SpaceX will work on HLS? I think they're working on it constantly in the background. We just don't see it as quite as visibly as everything else. Brian, thank you for the support. We already talked about the 22 or 33 engine static fire can be done without Ship 24. At least that's what Alex thinks. So if it happens with Ship 24, you can yell at him. Uncultured.
Oh boy.
Thank you for the support. I'm kidding. Philip Hatch, thanks for becoming a Pad Rat member. Black Hawk New Zealand, thank you for the support. Steve Bowen, thank you for the support. Artemis 1, NASA YouTube account now showing Artemis 1 scheduled for Sep 2, 9 a.m. Thoughts? That is just, I think, some preparatory work. It's not an actual indicator of anything. We're going to have to wait and see what NASA says tomorrow about the SLS. Moldy Space, thank you for gifting 5 Red Team memberships. You're awesome, Moldy. Andrew, thank you for becoming a Red Team member. Sean M., thank you so much for becoming a launch director. Warren Waddles, thank you for the support. Asking about spin prime tests back in the SN15 days. They don't remember those getting the live stream love. They did do spin prime. They did spin prime tests all the way back to Starhopper. Not a new thing.
Yeah.
Ninja, go ahead.
Just to add to that, we had in the past, I think, as we had not that much understanding about the countdown, there was a lot of times where we called them aborted pre-burners or aborted static fires, because it's kind of hard actually to visually see what's just an aborted test and what's an actual spin prime. Because, I mean, an aborted static fire will look like a spin prime. So sometimes I feel like they also got confused back in the day, especially in the Hopper days when we had basically no clue of how all of this works.
Yep. Alan, thanks for the support. Connor Mercer, thank you for the support. And Ninja Decimator, thank you for the super chat there. Welp. I don't know. I mean, what do we want to do here? Do we want to just hang out and see what happens next? Or, I mean, all indications are pointing to things are wrapping up for the day, especially with the window having just 34 minutes left in it.
Yeah, I think I would at this point be kind of confident to call this an abort, because we have the recondenser going, we have the frost line kind of losing intensity. We also have the depress vent we saw for a short period of time. We have the engine chill vent being completely gone. So yeah, at this point, it feels like we are kind of getting into the cooling down, and also we only have 34 minutes to go in this road closure window, and so far SpaceX has not indicated an extension to the road closure window. So at least from my perspective, this feels like activity spooling down. So yeah.
Yep. Nothing at the roadblock yet.
There appears to be a tanker though, or is just my imagination?
Yeah, there's a tanker, but it's not quite at the roadblock. He's kind of just like hanging out over there, illegally parked. I'm just kidding.
Also, the Vibe crane also parked there.
Amtank is saying, let's talk about Spätzle preference. Adrian, what's your Spätzle preference?
Like oh, you mean like a Spätzle?
Yes.
I prefer them like with some like with some onions and just some herbs. Very simple, but that's how I prefer them. Like make the onions very long time in the pan, and then some fresh like herbs to that, and then you have a nice Spätzle.
Oh god, now I'm hungry. Why? Why did I highlight that super chat? Now I'm hungry again. Paragon is asking about the Starhopper picture with the Milky Way being added to the store. It has not been added to the store yet. I've been doing SLS stuff, but I bring it up because they put bacon first. They said bacon. Then they asked about the Starhopper picture. They put bacon in the question so that I would see it. That's honestly, it's not a bad strategy. I mean, I guess it worked.
Yeah, but you gotta tag at NASASpaceflight first.
True.
For us to see it here.
Renzo26 is saying you have to add bacon to the Spätzle.
Yeah, that's actually an option. Like I don't think like it's a bad idea, but yeah, preference. Also, there's good Spätzle with cheese. You can also add cheese to that. So that's also it.
All right, no more food talk. I'm gonna eat my hand here in a second. I'm gonna have a Jack handwich. Put some pepper on it. It'll be a pepper Jack handwich. I'm sorry. David Me is saying, "What did I miss? Just got here." Oh boy, David, you missed so much.
It landed just right now from orbit. You missed
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. did a 500-meter hop, landed on the pad. The chopsticks did just a small show off, went up and down. Starhopper did a backflip, everything. Now I want to see Starhopper doing a backflip, by the way. Can I see that?
That would be amazing.
A belly flop from Starhopper.
But to answer more seriously, we were expecting a booster static fire based on an overpressure notice that went out and Mary received. We saw them get into fueling with the booster, then they seemed to enter into a hold, and now we are sort of in a detanking posture with about 30 minutes left in the window for testing. So seems like maybe they encountered an issue and ran out the clock here, not unlike SLS. So maybe August 29th is just a cursed day for rockets.
It really seems that way at this point.
Seems that way. That's a Cowboy Bebop reference. Let's see here. Here's an Alex question. Whitney and John are asking, how much more propellant does Booster 7 need compared to Falcon 9? It's a Falcon 9 question, so you have to like it.
Okay, so Falcon 9 actually uses about 450 tons of propellants, combining liquid oxygen and RP1, or refined form of kerosene, whereas Booster 7 uses 4,600, excuse me, not 4,000, 3,600 tons of propellants combined with liquid oxygen and liquid methane. So there you go. It's about almost 10 times more.
How do you know this just that easily out of your head? I'm completely baffled right now.
It's also, well, I said Booster 7, but actually the whole stack is about 4,800 tons. So it's that, so the full stack Starship, it's 10 times heavier than Falcon 9, and it can carry about 5 to 6 more times mass to orbit. So there you go.
Am I the only one that's surprised by just casually having these numbers in your head? I'm completely.
I'm not surprised. That's why I asked him the question.
I've seen we have another super chat as well asking a Falcon 9 question. If you want to hit that one, I can do that.
I'm trying, but this is the part of the stream where my iPad has decided to stop working. So if you can click it and answer it.
Okay, well, Teenage Astronaut, a great super chat, $10 here, and they said, quick Falcon 9 reuse. Do we know what the oldest currently flying booster is, and when was its first flight? So the oldest currently flying booster technically will be B1049, and it flew a few years ago. I'm stalling a little bit, opening my thing here. It flew for the first time in September 2018, so it's been going on for 4 years already. But it actually flew last time over a year ago. It will be 1 year in like 2 weeks. Actually, I will have said that better. Um, so I don't think it's fair to say it's flying still. And then the other booster, which is following that, is B1051, which first flew in March 2019 for the Crew Dragon Demo 1 mission. So there you go. All the details, all the deeds.
Oh, I was muted that entire time. Yay! Talking while muted. Excellent. Well, thank you for answering that that good question there. Oh man, cursed rocket day. What a day.
Yeah, currently it seems like the frost line is receding more and more. So yeah, it seems like they are in the process of saving this booster, but also the engine chill event is going again. So now I'm confused, but I think that's just part of the detank process. Oh, that's actually quite increasing there. But I think that's just part of this vehicle getting detanked at this point. I'm not. I do not get the vibes of this being still really an active and in testing vehicle. Also, they only have 25 more minutes to save this vehicle before the road opens.
Sure
Yeah,
enough.
and we're seeing the frost coming down as well, which is not encouraging.
Yeah, that's sort of one of the bigger signs there. Who don't DM me Wagyu steaks or however you say that word. Don't DM me steak pictures when I say I'm hungry on stream. Who does that?
Oh boy,
Good God.
too bad.
Teach me to say things on stream.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
so it looks
if we
like...
see, oh,
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was about to say, if we see them just reopening now the road and everything, they might retry tomorrow. We saw a similar thing with Ship 24 last week. They aborted any sort of testing that they were trying to attempt, and they came back the next day on Thursday, and they did spin prime tests on Ship 24. So we might see something similar here for tomorrow. We'll have to be looking out for that notice to Mary, but you know we'll be here, right, Jack? It's not, we're not going anywhere.
Indeed. Indeed. Well, I suppose, speaking of not going anywhere, maybe we should spool this down for the night and head on over to Starbase Live, where we can keep our eyes on things in case stuff starts picking up again. But yeah, I think that's what we will do. Thank you to everybody for all of the support on this stream and on the SLS stream. It's what a day it's been. Absolutely amazing. But either way, Adrian and Alex, thank you both for joining us on this one. I, of course, am Jack Byer, the annoying guy who always talks about bacon and food and makes bad dad jokes. But I digress. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Let's all go hang out at Starbase Live. And, of course, if anything starts to happen again that's worthy of commentary, we will go back live. But with the road closure coming up here, I think it's safe to say let's all go hang out at Starbase Live. See you there.